Dear Boomers, I have just signed up for a class with Jean Houston tomorrow evening in the evening, literally in the evening. And she has always been one of my favorites. She is a leading pioneer in the world of human development and has always been someone who has been a trailblazer. She's 87 years of age. She actually met Dr. Albert Einstein. She's met a lot of different people because of her great, I would say, she's a model of kindness and compassion and also the evolution of a human spirit. And that tomorrow's webinar will be about the quantum field and how we can create from the quantum to be a moving force in the world today. She is just, I love her and I'm so excited. I don't know, I think all you have to do is Google Jean Houston and sign up to the webinar if you're interested. So she talks about she believes in non-duality, and that's something my husband used to talk about all the time. Duality versus non-duality. A Course in Miracles talks about duality, non-duality all the time. And non-duality is when we're all one and we all are on a higher plane of emotional intelligence with gratitude, non-judgment, unconditional love, and all the things that we can actually draw into our lives every day as a starting point as to what we can achieve in any given day, in any given moment, because the quantum moment is all there is. And we don't have to think about the past, and we visualize the future exactly as we want it, and we bring it into our heart, into coherence with our brain, and that is the quantum field, as Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it. Non-duality happened to me the first time when I was 6 months of age. I was in my crib, and I, at the time, and later on, thought it was a out-of-body experience, but in reality, it was my higher guides coming out of me, and then they hovered around and looked down at me as a newly incarnated soul that they were traveling with throughout my life. And I certainly want to contact those higher guides, and in fact had done so after my husband's death from COVID. I had vivid dreams about them. They looked kind of alien-like, but they weren't aliens. They were my higher beings, my higher guides. So I have been trying to reach them again, and I felt as if this particular webinar will help me do that. Anything I can do to get some help on that, I will take it. So Jean Houston, in this one talk I just listened to, said that she is a Sicilian. Her father was Texas Scotch, as she calls it, and her mother was Sicilian, and they had a unique agreement to provide Catholic education to their children. Hang on just a minute. Hey! So, dear little Maso, I've been watching a channel on Boston Terriers, and I learn a lot. I mean, he has all the behaviors, and he doesn't like the word no. So I'm trying to avoid that word. I think it's just snapping my fingers gets him into an erect, attention-like way. So, my husband was a Catholic and went to Catholic schools, and he would always make fun of the nuns that would, they had a lot of kind of punishment to the children if they did anything wrong. They'd swat them with a ruler. My mother was raised Catholic, and her parents divorced, which was a mortal sin, and my mother was placed into a Roman Catholic convent at age 3 to 13, was raised by the nuns, and it took me a while to key in to the fact that She was traumatized, even though she never admitted it. She was traumatized. I never would have thought so until Tom, my husband, showed me how the nuns actually did act. They were strict disciplinarians. They didn't really show a whole lot of love. I guess that's probably a generalization. So she attended, Jean Houston attended Catholic school in Brooklyn, and her father, being a comedy writer, would have so much fun with her experiences. And she was one of those inquisitive souls, and she would ask the nuns if, when Jesus rose from the grave, whether he was pumped full of helium. That made the nuns very angry. She said, did Jesus go to the bathroom? She would ask questions that went back to her parents, and her father, being a comedy writer, had a heyday with that kind of information. And what was interesting to me was her affiliation with Mother Mary. My husband had that affiliation because Mother Mary does not care if you're a Catholic. She doesn't even care if you have a religion or not. I have a statue of Mother Mary in my living room, and my husband's ashes are right next to it. I have to do something with those ashes, people. So, Mother Mary is an amazing. There's like the Lourdes in France is a good example of people going there to, and I have never been there, but they present a lot of healings for people walking in with canes and wheelchairs and very sick, and they walk out without the canes, without the wheelchairs, and they are healed. Dr. Joe Dispenza's recent movie called The Source, It's Within You, has this. He's had the same experiences as Lord France, where the quantum fields, though, are being explored with his work, and he is teaching people how to reach the quantum in a enlightening way, as it were. And then all these things happen, and people don't necessarily go there to be healed, because our culture teaches us that we really can't be healed. We listen to the doctors, which is fine. The doctors are great. So anyway, and then right near me is a place called Emmitsburg. It's called the Grotto of Lourdes. So it is fashioned after the grotto in France, and it started out as a very wild, non-manicured place, lots of trees and lots of places for the elemental spirits to reside. And Mother Mary statues were there, and Jesus statues were there. And I've gone there. So I want to go there again, but I have been there several times. And my husband used to go there before it was a thing, as it is now. And as you approach this place, it has a huge, I don't know the dimensions. It's a huge statue of Mother Mary. And the golden sun shines on the golden statue, and it's just like this huge aura of Mother Mary. And that's in Emmitsburg, Maryland, not too far from where I live. And I will take a break at some time and go up there and do some filming of that place. Now it's more or less mainstream in the way they have a big gift shop with little trinkets of Mother Mary. That kind of stuff never existed when my husband was growing up, but it is what it is. So I have to say that when I was 6 months old, experiencing that shift as a baby, another thing that happened to me, and I think you can go over your own life, what has happened to you, moments of enlightened experiences. When my mother died, I was with her, and that was an amazing experience, because for 2 or 3 weeks at least, I had an experience of true unconditional love for everything and everybody. And now I can draw upon that experience at will. I believe in it. I believe that we can experience unconditional love to everybody we see and everybody we meet. And we have to be conscious of the way we think and the way we speak, so that we don't say unkind things or lash out at people because they don't believe what we want them to believe. We have to just sit back and accept and be non-judgmental. So that wasn't a mystical experience with my mother's death. And mystical experiences are non-duality at its best, and it is an example of non-duality. And these experiences do accelerate our personal and collective evolution, and not just personally, but everybody around me is helped by that experience because of the way I view, and you can do the same thing and probably are already doing it. So we are led to deeper ways of knowing, deeper ways of experiencing, and then whether we like it or not, we are on the mystical path. We can choose to accept it, or we can choose to fight it. We can choose to resist it. But in reality, letting go and letting God in every moment of our life, every breath that we take, is the way that we will really find what we're looking for now, not on our deathbed or somebody else's deathbed. It's very important. So there's stages of the mystical development. The first is awakening, where one feels a profound connection with the universe. I have a lot of videos about that. The next is purification and conscious suffering. Purification is where one actively sheds the old ways and seeks higher innocence, and also sees everybody at the heart of it all as innocent. Conscious suffering, as described by Rumi, helps in understanding and sharing. So if we understand the suffering of the human race, we can better understand it and have compassion for it. And then illumination is a step in this process, brings bliss and creativity. It allows the access to the creative process of the universe, and we might have visions and heightened senses providing new realities and possibilities. But something that comes with it is existential crises often can come. It's called the dark night of the soul. And that is something that brings intense challenges. And if we face them with a faith from the mystical that we had experienced previously, we will probably have a deeper transformation from these dark nights of the souls that we will lead to a rebirth of our spirit, a rebirth of our consciousness, a rebirth of the way we look at life. And then the final stage is the unitive life, where one exists in a state of union with the divine, becoming a force for change, life, and spiritual vitality. And this journey is something that can go through your whole lifetime. You may have had these experiences and may not have recognized them. So we then become co-creators with this beautiful life that we live. As I said before, we really are not co-creators. We are allowing God to create, the divine to create. We allow the mystical life to overtake our beautiful lives. Video over here. And if you have something to say, make a comment down below and we can have a conversation. And I appreciate everything. Bye-bye.